Bindusara, also Amitragata, was the second Maurya emperor of India. He was the son of Chandragupta Maurya, and father of its most famous ruler, Ashoka the Great. According to Jain scripts, Bindusara's original name was Simhasana. He was also given other titles, Ajathashatru, which means, man without enemies. He was an able monarch, who was successful in consolidating the empire established by his father. Sources credits his extensive territorial conquests in southern India. Bindusara was the only child of the great ruler Chandragupta Maurya and Durdara. His birth process was a tragedy ending with death of his mother. Chanakya, prime minister of Chandragupta Maurya, used to mix small amounts of poison in the food of Chandragupta, so that he would get used to it. One day Queen Durdara shared the food with the king, not knowing the poison was added to it. As she ate poisoned food, she died. Chanakya, who had great knowledge in Ayurveda, cut the belly and took out the baby. But when he took out the child from the womb, there was a drop of poison on a forehead of child. Chandragupta ruled for about 25 years, leaving behind him a large empire for his son, Bindusara, to inherit. Chanakya remained as a prime minister for Bindusara as well. Bindusara was no less than his father in expansion of kingdom. He destroyed the nobles and kings of 16 states, between Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, except Kalinga, which was conquered by Ashoka. During Bindusara's reign, Maurya Empire was extended up to Mysore. The Tamil kingdoms were not part of the Maurya Empire, but acknowledged his suzerainty. The people of Takshashila, and the mountain people revolted against the rule of Bindusara. So he sent his son Ashoka to suppress the revolt. When his army reached Takshashila, the people of the city approached him. They told him that they only opposed Bindusara's ministers, they had no problem with the emperor or the prince. Ashoka then entered the city without opposition, and warned the ministers and officials against oppressing the people. Chanakya continued to be Bindusara's prime minister, and he asked the emperor to appoint a man named Subandhu as one of his ministers. However, Subandhu wanted to become a higher minister, and grew jealous of Chanakya. So he told Bindusara that Chanakya had cut open the belly of his mother. After confirming the story with the nurses, Bindusara started hating Chanakya. So Chanakya was retired, and decided to starve himself to death. Meanwhile, Bindusara came to know about the detailed circumstances of his birth, and implored Chanakya to resume his ministerial duties. When Chanakya refused, the emperor ordered Subandhu to pacify him. Subandhu, while pretending to appease Chanakya, burned him to death. Bindusara maintained friendly diplomatic relations with the Greeks. Diamakos was the ambassador of Seleucid Empire, at Bindusara's court. Bindusara also shared friendly relations with the Syrian king. Scholars from Egypt and Syria lived in his palace as ambassadors. Bindusara had 101 sons, out of which Sushima and Ashoka were prominent. Bindusara wanted his eldest son Sushima as his heir. But that was not favored by the Brahmins. Sushima was often very rude and mannerless, and thus lost the favor of many sects of kingdom. During that time, Sushima wanted to end the life of Ashoka, as he felt his presence as a threat to his supremacy. This resulted in a war between Ashoka and Sushima. The war for throne continued for 4 years, in which Ashoka succeeded killing Sushima, and became the third Maurya emperor. Due to this war that took place on his family saddened Bindusara very much. He fasted himself to death, and died at the age of 48. His son Ashoka the Great succeeded the Maurya throne, and went on to become one of the greatest kings in the history of India.